My favorite poem is John Donne's Death Be Not Proud. I like the meaning of this poem. I admire how the speaker doesn't fear death. The speaker is Donne in this poem. I feel like people nowadays live their life too timidly because they fear death, and I don't think that's right. I think everyone should live their life to the fullest because everyone's going to die eventually. I try to abide by this. I take as many opportunities as I can, and I go on as many ventures as I can. It's like the song by Tim McGraw, "Live Like You Were Dying." Just live like you're not going to have it tomorrow. I also like the religious aspect of this poem. Donne was a religious person. He was a priest, and he wrote a lot of poems about his religion. This work is part of his holy sonnets. So I like the Christianity ideas in it. A main belief of Christians is the resurrection and life everlasting, which this poem directly references both of them. Religion is a very important part in my life, and I found this poem to be very powerful and beautiful in the way that Donne presented his ideas of Christianity. In Death Be Not Proud, Donne personifies death, so every time he mentions death, he's addressing death as a person, and all of the times he addresses death, death is capitalized like a name would be. Donne addresses death directly to shame it, mock it, and degrade it. He says death is proud, but that it has no reason to be. He calls death powerless and a slave to other forces, because kings can order someone to be killed whenever they want, and death doesn't decide that the person dies. He says it's a slave to chance, fate, poison, war, and sickness, because death doesn't decide when these people die. Donne compares death to sleep with a metaphor. He says death is just a short sleep that will pass when we wake eternally. Donne adds that sleep is pleasurable, which further degrades death, and is another reason why it shouldn't be proud. Death Be Not Proud is a sonnet with mostly iambic pentameter. Donne changes some of the stressed syllables to emphasize certain words. The rhyme scheme is A, B, B, A, B, B, A, C, D, C, A, A. The first quatrain starts out questioning death, death being proud, and the second insults it more. It begins to degrade it. The third quatrain insults death by calling it a slave, which is the most insulting he gets thus far. And the concluding couplet makes Donne's reasons for mocking death clear and says death is the only thing that actually dies. This is when he mentions eternal life after death and shows his religious motivations for mocking death. Death Be Not Proud by John Donne. Death be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy or charms can make us sleep as well, and better than thy stroke, why swellest thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die.